Salutations. Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing today? My name is Pablo, and this is my Coleman Rubicon 1628 bunkhouse. And I've had this camper for a few months. I've taken it out about 5-6 times, and I've used it also as a off-road adventure rig, but not like taking it on major trails. But I have taken it off pavement road. And if you're looking to get a Coleman Rubicon, then I hope my video will help you out a lot, because I did about a year's research on campers and see which one would fit my family the best. And ultimately what we came to was this little Rubicon. Now, we did look at the Geopods. We also looked at the Micro J Feather 171 bunkhouse and a bunch of other brands, but the Coleman kind of fit our needs really well. So let's dive into it real quick. I wanted to share my experience of not just owning the trailer, but towing with it, using it. I have 2 kids. One's 1 year old, the other one is 5 years old. Obviously there's me and my wife, and all of us using the whole camper. First off, it's not that big, but usually when you buy a camper trailer like this, you're not really spending that much time inside the trailer. What I have found with it though is that if you do need to spend some time with it, it's relatively comfortable. Now, when we bring our Labrador Border Collie mixed dog with us, it's a very tight fit, and that's where it gets a little uncomfortable. But if you're a couple, or you have 2 young kids and no dog, it seems to so far not be that bad. The bathroom is, well, it is what it is, but it does. Look, I am 5'10", 5'9". I'm not a big man, but I will say that I can take a shower in here relatively comfortable. And as far as the throne, it's okay. You can sit down on it. There's a little, and I have plenty of room. Like, I'm comfortable using these facilities. The kitchen has been useful. When you're not using the stove, you have all this cooking area, and we are going to get a cutting board made by our neighbor who's really good at woodworking. That's going to fit over here, and that's going to extend that out, and then we're going to make it 2 pieces that lift one side up, so then that way we can use still the sink at the same time we're preparing our meals. Now, 2 gas stoves and a microwave. The microwave only works when you're hooked into shore power, of course. And the refrigerator is one of my favorite parts about this trailer. Is a almost full-size fridge, and it works really well, except this guy here. Sometimes we'll stop at a like pit stop area, will come inside the trailer, and this has moved out of the way. So maybe figure out a better locking mechanism would be a lot better. But I have yet to have found the actual refrigerator door open and contents all over the floor, even after coming off of some dirt trails or dirt roads. So, I mean, the doors do stay pretty closed on that fridge, which is good. Don't quote me on this, but it does, I can't get it down to the minor detail, but it is about a 42 gallon freshwater tank, and then you got a 21 gallon gray water and a 21 gallon black water tank, which for about a 3-day trip for us so far with a whole family of 4, it hasn't really been a problem. But we usually are on sites with full hookups, so if our gray water gets a little too high, we just kind of ease off the top a bit. But we still leave some gray water in there to help flush out the black tank once the whole process is done. But that's a whole different video. I'm not talking about that. So what are some things I really don't like about this camper trailer is I kind of wish that the bottom board could lift up like the Jaycos, and you can go and reach the storage that's underneath here. It would make it so much easier for a certain amount of things, but instead if I want to reach my storage in there, I gotta go through the ports on the outside, and those are tiny and tight, when, you know, lifting that could be even easier. But I mean, that's me just kind of nitpicking here. So one of the things that really sold me on this trailer is the 190 watt solar panel that is actually already installed, and it has a solar panel controller and inverter. Now, I do recommend adding a second panel. With the factory panel system, the battery will stay charged if the fridge is set to the lowest setting. And if you have it set to the mid setting or the high setting, it will deplete the batteries even when the solar panel is being hit pretty good by the sun, which is not a always perfect situation. It will drain the batteries within 3 days. With just sitting here. I've tested it probably 2 or 3 times, and it takes about 3.5 days to fully drain the batteries. If it's a really hot day, it'll do it in about 1.5 days to 2. So now I live in Texas, and so this AC unit did work pretty well for us when we did our trial run. It was about 95 degrees outside when we ran this AC unit, and it held up really well. It's just really loud, like really loud. It does have this front window here, and I really like that, because when I've been at campsites, I'll get up, lift that window, and I'll see what everybody else is doing, if they're getting up, making coffee and all that. It does have these really neat little overhead cabinets with lighting, which is really nice in the middle of the night when you don't want to wake up everybody else. My only complaint is these cabinet doors don't stay up on their own. So if you have to grab something, it's kind of a pain. But it has them on both sides, one above the kitchen and then the other above the dinette. This dinette actually comes down and turns into a bed like almost every other camper. So under the bunkhouse, there is the bunk bed, there's a storage down there. This bunk actually folds up this way, and you can access the storage from the access door on the side. I can't really show you here right now, but I might have some footage, and I'll plug it in right now. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. It has powered awning. Then we got battery, fresh water, black tank, gray tank, and gray 2 does nothing because it doesn't have a secondary gray tank. Now the water heater can run off of electric or propane gas. There's a water pump to run from the freshwater tank, and then exterior lights and interior lights. I do not know the exact numbers of the water heater, but the electric one gets pretty freaking hot. Gas and electric, it stays pretty freaking hot for a very long time. So I'd say that works a little too well. And the furnace for cold weather camping, we did camp at close to, I think it was like 32 degrees. 32 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know Celsius, so if you're not in America, I am sorry. But the little furnace did really well. It kept us really warm and no complaints whatsoever. Let's look at the outside storage real quick. So outside storage is pretty good. Like I said earlier, I wish this folded up and I had access to this storage. I'd make it a lot more useful than this little window that I have to go through. But everything here is pretty much everything that needs to set up the trailer, and that's what I've relatively found. Everything else we kind of tend to just go ahead and put in our truck. I thought this was a battery cutoff, which is absolutely not. Cutoff to the inverter. So if I turn that, it turns on the inverter. Now, one thing that I did find kind of annoying when I first bought this trailer is that the inverter did not work off of shore power. And what ended up happening is when they were doing the prep work on the trailer to sell it, they never fully hooked it up or made the connection that only the power wire was going to it, and it was never grounded. And I ended up having to take this little black bezel off right here, dig out the ground cable, and then shove it out from underneath the camper and then hook it up to the batteries. And I am running 2 dual 27 group 27 batteries on this thing. It's nice. It also comes with a griddle, which I thought was pretty cool, but they didn't give me the propane gas line to hook up the griddle, because it does have a connection, a quick disconnect here for the propane, and then there's this right here is where you would hook up the griddle. And I recommend getting a little table to set up next to it, because it just makes life a lot easier. Now, towing with this trailer, I have 2 vehicles that I will tow it with. I have my 1992 Toyota Land Cruiser. This is a Japanese import, which is a turbo diesel and has a tow rating of like 7,200 pounds. This trailer, I believe, dry is 3,800 pounds and fully loaded is like 4,900 pounds. So I'm well within that margin. And then I have a 2013-2012 Toyota Sequoia with the 5.7 V8, and that one tows this just like it doesn't care. Now, we don't really get a lot of sway, so we don't even have a weight distribution hitch, and getting passed by semis and stuff like that hasn't really been a big deal for us. I don't recommend towing this trailer if you are rated at 5,000 pounds. I don't recommend that at all. Also, one thing that was an absolute must for me was a black tank flush, which this one has, so that's good. Regardless, it's a good little trailer. I've been really happy with it. We've been to lots of places with it. And we look forward to taking it to a lot more places and maybe across more state lines in the future. But as far as that goes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you're here at the end, I don't know why, but I appreciate it, and you have a good day. You have a good day. But yeah, that is my Coleman Rubicon 1628 bunkhouse. I hope that this was useful. If I missed anything, or if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer them. I'll maybe make a follow-up video if you guys start to really ask questions. But other than that, thank you guys so much. You guys have a good day. I say guys a lot, but hey guys, adios.